So Krishna says in the 17th chapter, the sacrifice, what are the characteristics of a sacrifice in Rajoguna? Abhisandaya tu phalam. When a person performs sacrifice for some material benefit or dambhartham or for the sake of pride, then such a sacrifice is in sacrifice in Rajoguna. So here Daksha Prajapati is performing a sacrifice with great pride, and he is also having that enmity or the attitude of disrespect towards Lord Shiva. Therefore, it is actually in Rajoguna. So Daksha Prajapati is a personality who had a high competence, but he had a bad character in terms of disrespect towards Shiva. So Daksha Prajapati was thinking, let me perform more and more auspicious rituals, but while not inviting the personality Lord Shiva, who is actually the most auspicious person. He was performing more and more rituals externally for creating auspiciousness, but he made the biggest mistake of not inviting the most auspicious personality, Bhagavan Shiva. Shiva means one who is auspicious. So the most auspicious effect will be created by getting the blessings of the great Vaishnavas. So definitely, yeah, we try to perform the rituals to the best of our capacity with the right attitude, not as a mechanically. But we should not simply get trapped by the various rituals and forget the main spirit of performing the ritual, that is the respecting the Vaishnavas. So the greatest auspiciousness is created by the respecting the Vaishnavas, Vaishnava Samman. So here Daksha Prajapati is performing more and more rituals. Brihaspati Yajna, Vajapayee Yajna. But he has failed to invite the most auspicious personality. He has failed to honor the best among the Vaishnavas. So one of the class, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj mentioned, for example, in a marriage, the main reason for inviting many people for marriage is to actually get their blessings. So sometimes, oftentimes, sometimes people may invite in order to sometimes to show off on their opulence. But he said the main reason for inviting many people for marriage or other functions is to get their blessings. So, for example, we see in the Bhagavatam 10th canto, Nalakuvar and Manigriv. The primary intoxication of Nalakuvar and Manigriv was that they were proud actually. That was the primary intoxication. And not the liquor. The liquor was a secondary intoxicant. But they were very proud of their position as being the sons of Kuvera. So therefore, when Narada Muni saw Nalakuvar and Manigriv, Narada Muni said that Nahyanyo Jushato Jushyan Buddhi Brahmsho Rajo Gunaha Srimadad Abhijatyadir Yatra Stri Dyutamasavaha. Among all the attractions of material enjoyment, the attraction of riches bewilders one's intelligence. more than having beautiful bodily features, more than taking birth in an aristocratic family, more than being learned. When one is uneducated but falsely puffed up by wealth, the result is that one engages one's wealth in enjoying wine, women, and gambling. Srimadaad Abhijatyadir Yatra Sri Dyutamasavaha. So here Daksha Prajapati is also very proud of his position. So we'll go to the next shloka. Tasmin Brahma Rishayas Sarve
तस्मिन् ब्रह्मर्षयः सर्वे
Devarshi Pitrudevataah
देवर्षि पितृदेवता
Asan Kritaswastyayanas
आसन् कृतस्वत्ययनास्
Tatpatnyascha Sabhartrikaah.
तत्पत्न्याश्च स भर्तुकः. While the sacrifice was being performed, many Brahmarshis, great sages, ancestral demigods, and other demigods, their wives, all were nicely decorated with ornaments, attended from different parts of the universe.
So Maitreya Rishi goes ahead with the description of this particular sacrifice. Tasmin, in that yajna, who are all present? Sarve Brahma Rishaya, Sarve Deva Rishi, Sarve Pitru, Sarve Devata, Sabhi Brahma Rishi, Deva Rishi, Pitara और देवगण उपस्थित हुए थे आसन तथा अपने पतियों के साथ उनकी स्त्रियों ने भी मांगलिक गान किया था. आसन कृत स्वस्त्ययनाः स्वस्ति अयनाः तत्पत्न्यश्च सबर्तृकाः. Sabhartruka, Bhartru refers to the husband. Along with their husbands, the wives were also present. And Swastyayana, they were also, I think they were also like putting the akshata, mangalika. So here further, any purport is there, let us see. So in any sacrificial ceremony, it is auspicious for the married women to decorate themselves very nicely with ornaments, fine clothing, and the cosmetics. These are all auspicious signs. Many heavenly women assembled with their husbands, the Deva Rishis, demigods, and Raja Rishis, in that great sacrifice named Brihaspati Sava. So they specifically approached along with their husbands. So when a woman is decorated nicely, her husband becomes more cheerful. So all these were the nice decorations, ornaments, and dress. They are all very auspicious signs for the ceremony. There is a I was reading there is a shloka in the Mahabharata. This shloka comes in when Pradyumna was fighting with Shalva. Pradyumna, Krishna's son Pradyumna, was fighting with Shalva. So at that time, and actually it was a very intense fight in Dwarka. And 1 minute. So at one point it was described in the Mahabharata because of the intense fight, the city, when Pradyumna came back to a particular place, the whole city was not effulgent. He saw very, he felt that the city was very inauspicious. There is a description which is there. Apashyam dwarakam chaham maharaja hatatvisham niswadhyaya vashatkaram nirbhूषण वरस्त्रियम. हे महाराज, मैंने वहां पहुंचकर देखा द्वारका श्रीहीन हो रही है. So Pradyumna, he saw in Dwaraka that Dwaraka was actually without any effulgence. Hatat Twisham. Twisham means the effulgence. He saw that the Dwaraka was without any effulgence. It appeared as if that nobody was doing Swadhyaya in the city, Swadhyaya of the scriptures. And no yajnas were being performed there. So because of that, it appeared the city was without any effulgence. And then an analogy is given. वो द्वारकापुरी आभूषणों से रहित सुंदरी नारी की भांति उदास लग रही थी. So the city, without the chanting of the Vedic hymns, without the study of the Shastras, without the performance of the yajna, it was without effulgence. And it appeared like a woman who is not wearing the ornaments. A beautiful woman who is not wearing the ornaments. So that is the analogy which is given. So Prabhupada is also writing here that when the women are decorated properly, then there is an auspicious sign for any function. The 10th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna's birth ceremony or the Nandotsav was being performed, was being celebrated. After Krishna was born, the next day, Nanda Maharaj celebrated the birth of Krishna. The next day after Janmashtami, we celebrate Nandotsav. So Nanda Maharaj celebrated the festival. But in that festival, Rohini Devi was also present in Vrindavan. But Rohini Devi was living away from her husband, Vasudev. Vasudev was in the prison house in Mathura. So normally the culture at that time was that in the absence of the husband, when the husband is far away, the wife will not decorate herself nicely. But here, Rohini Devi, she decorated herself nicely, although her husband was away, because the whole function was being celebrated in the happiness of the birth of Krishna. So, in order to give pleasure to Krishna, she also decorated herself nicely, going against the normal convention. So, therefore, so when we go to a particular function, or from a spiritual point of view, when a devotee decorates himself nicely, it is for the purpose of giving pleasure to Krishna. Or suppose when a devotee is properly is there in proper attire when he goes for a function, then people, in order to give dignity, in order to give respect to a community of the devotees, like Prabhupada once said that first dress yourself properly, then address. Even for preachers, he mentioned that when somebody is going for a class or something, one must dress oneself properly. Dress oneself means not that a preacher has to wear some coat suit, but basically neat clothes, fine clothes. One must dress oneself properly, and then one must address. So one class in some places even in South India, when the pujaris when they go to worship the deities, the pujaris, some of the pujaris, they also wear different ornaments. So then somebody asked that, why is this pujari actually dressing like this? He's putting fine perfume, or he's putting these ornaments. So then somebody was thinking that maybe the pujari is trying to attract the attention of others towards him. But then another devotee asked him, and the devotee said that the reason I'm dressing like this is that because I'm going to the altar. I want to look nice in front of Krishna. So I'm doing this for Krishna's pleasure. I'm doing this for Krishna's pleasure, so that Krishna becomes happy to see me. So just like Rohini Devi, although she was away from her husband, but she dressed herself nicely in order to give pleasure to Krishna. Uh, So, so the same, these things, like for example, decorating oneself nicely or something. One may do it for the sake of attracting others' attention towards oneself. But we can also do this. Then it becomes a, then it is a, then one has put oneself in the center. But if we do the same activity for the sake of Krishna's pleasure, so bhakti is basically uh, we don't have to change our activity. In bhakti, we just have to change the attitude. By changing the attitude, by elevating our consciousness, by doing the same activity, but by with a spiritual consciousness, so the same activity becomes spiritualized. So then, so next few verses, next I will read the next three verses. So at this point, Sati comes to know about the sacrifice which Daksha Prajapati was performing. And then Sati develops a desire to go there. Read the next shloka. Tadupashrutya nabasi
तदुपश्रुत्य नभसि
खेचराणां प्रजल्पताम्
केचरणां प्रजल्पताम्
सती दाक्षायणी देवी
सती दाक्षायणी देवी
पितृयज्ञमहोत्सवम्
पितृयज्ञमहोत्सवम्
व्रजन्ती सर्वतो दिग्भ्य
व्रजन्ति सर्वतो दिग्भ्य
उपदेव वरस्त्रियः
उपदेववरः स्त्रियः
विमानयाना सप्रेष्ठा
विमानयाना सप्रेष्टा
निष्ककण्ठी सुवाससः
निष्ककण्ठी सुवाससः
दृष्ट्वा स्वनिलयाभ्यासे
दृष्ट्वा स्वनिलयाय दृष्ट्वा स्वनिलयाभ्यासे
लोलाक्षीर्मृष्टकुण्डलाः
लोलाक्षिर्मृष्टकुण्डला
पतिं भूतपतिं देवम्
पतिं भूतपतिं देवम्
औत्सुक्याद् अभ्यभाषत
औत्सुक्यात् अभ्यभाषत. Translation. The chaste lady Sati, the daughter of Daksha, heard the heavenly denizens flying in the sky, conversing about the great sacrifice being performed by her father. When she saw that from all directions the beautiful wives of the heavenly denizens, their eyes very beautifully glittering, were near her residence and were going to the sacrifice, dressed in fine clothing and ornamented with earrings and necklaces, with lockets, she approached her husband, the master of the Bhutas, in great anxiety, and spoke as follows.
तद उपश्रुत्य, hearing from the mouth of the Kecharanam Prajalpatam. So Kecharas are a particular group of species. Kecharas, they move in the sky. Kecharanam Prajalpanam. Hearing from the mouth of the gossiping Kecharas in the sky. Nabasi means the sky. Hearing that, what did she hear? Pitru Yajna Mahotsavam. She heard about the great sacrifice which is being performed by her father, Pitru Yajna Mahotsavam. So hearing that, Sati Dakshayani Devi. So Sati Dakshayani Devi, what did she do? Like she heard these things that from the Kecharas that her father is performing a great sacrifice. Not only she heard, but she also saw Brajanti Sarvato Digbya Upadeva Varastriyah. So she saw near her house. She saw near her house the wives of the Upadevas, Upadeva Varastriyah, with darting eyes, with fine cloth, Suvasasaha, Nishka Kanti, attractive earrings, and attractive earrings and nishkas on their throats, mounted on their airplanes. So she saw that many of these wives of the heavenly demigods, along with their husbands, nicely decorated, they are also going in the airplane to take part in that sacrifice performed by her father, mounted on their airplanes, going there from all directions, Digbhyah, along with their husbands. Drishtva Swanilaya Abhyasi. Swanilaya Abhyasi means near her house. She saw all these things. Lolakshir Mrishta Kundalai means like, she saw all of them decorated nicely with the beautiful earrings, etc. Patim Bhutapatim Devam. So after seeing all these things, Autsukyad Abhyabhashata. So she spoke with a Autsukyad, with a great enthusiasm and with a great longing. Abhyabhashata, she spoke with a great longing to whom? Patim Bhutapatim Devam. And to her husband, who is the Bhutapati, the Lord of the ghosts. So what she is speaking, that will start from the next shloka. So here again we see that Sati, she developed a desire by seeing that others going for that particular sacrifice performed by her father. So oftentimes, many times we develop desire by others doing certain activity. Sometimes certain desires may be deep within our heart. But when we come in contact with some other personalities who are doing a particular activity, then the desires get aroused. Desires get aroused. And Sati was seeing that everybody is going for the sacrifice. But Shiva did not tell anything about that, and she's left all alone. So oftentimes in the modern this thing also, there is a feeling of being excluded, or the feeling of being socially isolated. That becomes a little painful for many people. And especially when we see from the point of view of a woman, the need to be part of a society or a group that is sometimes greater in a woman compared to a person in the man's body. In general, it is there for everyone. Sometimes the people people feel when they and suppose when the whole group of people and everyone in the society or in the village or the country, when they are doing certain activity, even somebody others also who may not have the inclination, they also get drawn. They also get drawn to perform the same activity. Uh, so there's a because there's a need to be identified as part of the group. Somebody is not following a majority, then he may be looked down by others. So here, of course, here there is a social function. A great yajna is being performed. So all the devatas along with their wives are going there. So Sati had a feeling of being excluded, and she was socially isolated, and that was very painful for Sati. Uh, So, and at this point, the Sati, by seeing all these people, she also becomes eager to go there, and she becomes overwhelmed by the desire. So we can see the power of the desires. The desires grow by seeing others and by hearing others doing certain activity. So when the desires develop, we don't consider whether they are within the ambit of whether we deserve it or not. So sometimes others are doing a certain activity. Just for example, suppose so certain other children are doing a certain activity, but then one child, he may be in a family, may not be very wealthy, but other children may be celebrating a birthday in a particular way. But by seeing that, he also develops a desire, oh, my birthday should also be celebrated in this way. So the desires grow by seeing and by hearing. So when the desires develop, we don't consider whether they are within the ambit of whether we deserve it or not. We become obsessed to fulfill the desire, and we don't introspect whether we are supposed to pursue the desire or not. Are we supposed to, whether we deserve it or not? So here Sati, she is saying that everyone is going for that, but she didn't deeply think that what was the feeling of Daksha towards Lord Shiva. How can I go there? Daksha has enmity towards Daksha considers Shiva as an enemy. So these verses will come. We'll read that. So Sati is actually, by seeing all these people, she got affected. And again, so in these three verses, it's also described in detail that how the women were hearing nice ornaments, earrings, etc. So another some from cultural point of view, a wife is always supposed to wear. It is said that five types of ornaments: anklets, nose rings, the Mangal Sutra, and a few other ornaments. I'm not exactly remembering. There are, according to the Dharma Shastra, wife is supposed to wear always five types of ornaments. If your wife doesn't wear these five ornaments, from a cultural, dharmic culture point of view, then it is like killing one's own husband. In the Ramayana, when Kaikeyi wanted to send Lord Ram to the forest, and when she wanted to enthrone Bharat as the king, as the prince. So at that time, if we read the description of Ramayana, Kaikeyi, on being incited by Manthara, she removed these five ornaments, which a wife is supposed to wear, and then she removed these five ornaments and went into the Kopa Bhavan. So when Dashrath Maharaj goes to see Kaikeyi, Kaikeyi is without these five ornaments. It means in order to express her anger, in the sense that if you do, she wanted to give a message that if you don't fulfill these two benedictions of what I'm going to ask, then it is as good as that husband is dead for me. That is the message she was trying to give. Uh, So these descriptions of the ornaments, they are also we can see from a cultural point of view, because in the modern culture, many times people they don't realize the importance of these things when one gets affected by the say Western culture. So they may not wear certain ornaments, but they don't realize that not wearing these ornaments symbolically it is equivalent to like killing one's own husband. So, so now from the next verse, Sati expresses a desire to take part in the sacrifice, and she gives different reasons why she wants to go there. Satyuvacha
सत्युवाच
प्रजापतेस्ते प्रजापतेस्ते श्वशुरस्य साम्प्रतम्
प्रजापतेस्ते श्वशुरस्य साम्प्रतम्
निर्यापितो यज्ञमहोत्सव किल
निर्यापितो यज्ञमहोत्सव किल
वयं च तत्राभिसराम वामते
यं च तत्राभिसराम वामते
यद्यर्तिथामी विबुधा व्रजन्ति
यर्तितामि विबुधा व्रजन्ति. Sati said, "My dear Lord Shiva, your father-in-law is now executing great sacrifices, and all the demigods, having been invited by him, are going there. If you desire, we may also go."
So Sati is saying that Yajna Mahotsava, a great sacrifice, Niryapitaha, has been undertaken by Swashura, Prajapates Te Swashura, by your father-in-law Daksha. And Vibhuda means Devatas. Yadi Artitami Vibhuda Vrajantihi, since the Devatas are going there, Vayamcha Tatra Abhisarama, let us also go there. Let us also go there, and this is my request. Like that, Sati is beginning. So, if the famous Devatas are going there, then we should also go there. O noble Lord, Vama means O noble Lord. Artita, this is my request. So here, so Sati was aware of the tension between Daksha and Lord Shiva, but she is giving the first reason that since so many Devatas are going, I also want to go. So she could not express her willingness directly. So therefore, she told her husband, if you desire, we may also go there. And she could also accompany him. In other words, she submitted her desire very politely to her husband. So Shiva was, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj was explaining in a class that Lord Shiva previously, he would be invited for many sacrifices. But Daksha Prajapati gave a curse to Lord Shiva that you would not be able to accept any sacrificial offerings. So Lord Shiva became happy by hearing Daksha's curse, because Lord Shiva, he felt more as a social obligation to go to different sacrifices. So oftentimes, sometimes when we are living in the society, we have to go as a social obligation to different functions. Sometimes one may not enjoy that going there, but one has to go there as a social obligation, as a formality, a different thing. So, but Lord Shiva, he felt that, so now I am free from all these obligations. because of the Daksha's curse. So he felt happy after hearing Daksha's curse. But now Sati, Lord Shiva and Sati, they stopped going to any yajnas. But this particular yajna, Sati really wanted to go there because this yajna was performed by her own father Daksha. And then she saw that so many other people were going. So many other people were going. And she also saw that her own sisters were going there. And she expresses that in the next shloka. Tasmin baginyo mama bhartru biswakair.
तस्मिन् भगिन्यो मम भर्तुभिस्सकैर्
ध्रुवं गमिष्यन्ति सुहृद्दिदृक्षवः.
ध्रुवं गमिष्यन्ति सुहृद्दिदृक्षवः.
अहं च तस्मिन् भवताभिकामये.
अहं च तस्मिन् भवताभिकामये.
सहोपनीतं परिबर्हमर्हितुम्.
सहोपनीतं परिबर्हमर्हितम्. Translation.
Can see.
I know I'm not able to see translation. All my sisters must have gone to this great sacrificial ceremony with their husbands. I also desire to decorate myself with the ornaments given to me by my father and participate in that assembly.
Mama Bhaginyah, my sisters, Bhartrubihi Swakair, along with their husbands, Dhruvam Gamishyanti, will certainly go to the sacrifice. Suhrud Didrkshavaha, desiring to see my Suhrut relatives or friends. Aham cha tasmin bhavata abhikamaye. Bhavata, along with you. Aham cha tasmin abhikamaye. I also desire to go there. And sahopanitam paribarham argitum. I desire to go there and I desire to accept the gifts offered by my parents. So she is saying that just as my sisters are worshipped with their husbands, let me be also be worshipped with my husband. This is my desire. I desire to accept along with you the gifts such as cloth and ornaments given by my parents. So here Prabhupada gives an instructive purport. So Prabhupada says the word Stri. The word Stri means, according to the Sanskrit dictionary, Vyutpatti, one who expands the field of material enjoyment. So then he talks about how in the whole material existence, why a living entity continues in a material existence. The basic, the fundamental reason is the attraction between the man and women. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Rishabhadev, in his instructions to his sons, Rishabhadev gives a very profound statement. Pumsastriya mituni bhavametam tayor mito hridaya granthi mahuhu ato grihakshetra sutapta vittair janasya mohoya maham mameti. So this shloka is, without quoting it, Prabhupada has explained the shloka in a paraphrased manner in the purport. What is the meaning of this shloka? The attraction between male and female is the basic principle of material existence. And on the basis of this misconception, which ties together the hearts of the male and female, one becomes attracted to the body, home, property, children, relatives and wealth. Griha Kshetra Sutapta Vittaya. In this way, one increases life's illusions and thinks in terms of me and mine. Aham, mama, iti. So it all starts from the attraction between the male and female, and that slowly it expands into the other things. So therefore, based on this particular shloka, Prabhupada is saying that the word Stri means one who expands the field of material enjoyment. So Lord Shiva is actually not at all attracted to material enjoyment. Lord Shiva is a highly, very renounced person. Although Sati was the daughter of Daksha and was given to Lord Shiva on the request of Brahma, but Lord Shiva is completely detached from material enjoyment. But Sati, she wanted to go there. She wanted enjoyment. She wanted to go to her father's house, just as the other sisters are going there. So she said that I also want to go there by decorating myself properly along with my, just like my other sisters are going. So, but Lord Shiva, like he is actually completely detached, and especially Lord Shiva did not want to go there because Lord Shiva did not receive an invitation. And not just he did not receive an invitation, but Daksha Prajapati hated Lord Shiva. So sometimes one may go to a particular thing, particular function, even without an invitation. If the other person is somebody who is very close to you, is very dear to you, then one may go to even to a relative place without invitation also sometimes. But the Lord Shiva was not only not invited, but more than that, Daksha hated Lord Shiva. But Sati, she was very much influenced by seeing so many people going there. She saw her sisters going there. So therefore, she also wanted to go there by decorating herself nicely. So Prabhupada also says that it is also the custom that the husband gives some ornaments. So but there it is here. It is particularly mentioned that her husband being materially almost nothing, Lord Shiva could not do so. So Lord Shiva did not even during the Graha Pravesha ceremony. He gave everything in charity, including the house itself. So probably Lord Shiva did not give any ornaments to Sati. So therefore Sati is saying that I want to go there by wearing the ornaments given by my father at the time of the marriage. So it was fortunate for Sati that Lord Shiva did not take the ornaments from his wife and spend them for ganja. Because those who imitate Lord Shiva in smoking ganja exploit everything from the household affairs, but they take all of their wife's property and spend on smoking, intoxication, and other similar activities. So some of the followers of Lord Shiva, they may indulge in smoking ganja, and for smoking ganja, they may sell off the ornaments of their wife. But Lord Shiva, Prabhupada is in a more jovial way saying that Lord Shiva did not provide any ornaments to Sati because Lord Shiva was completely detached. So Sati had only the ornament, but Lord Shiva also did not take away the ornaments given by the Sati's father. Sati is therefore saying that I want to wear the ornaments given by my father and I want to go and take part in that sacrifice along with you. Like that Sati is saying. Go to the next shloka. तत्र तत्र स्वश्रु मे तत्र स्वश्रु तत्र तत्र स्वसुर्मे ननु भर्तृ संहिता
तत्र स्वसुर्मे ननु भर्तु संमिता
मातृश्वसृक् क्लिन्नधियं च मातरम्
मातृश्वश्री क्लिन्न धियं च मातरम्
द्रक्ष्ये चिरोत्कण्ठमणामहर्षिभिर्
द्रक्ष्ये चिरोत्कण्ठमनां महर्षिभिः
उन्नीयमानं च मृडाध्वरध्वजम्
उन्नीयमानं च मृदाधवर्ध्वजम्. Translation. My sisters, my mother's sisters and their husbands, and other affectionate relatives must be assembled there. So if I go, I shall be able to see them, and I shall be able to see the flapping flags and the performance of the sacrifice by the great sages. For these reasons, my dear husband, I am very much anxious to go.
So here Sati is further saying that Tatra swashrume nanu bhartru samhita matru swasru klinna diyam cha mataram. So drakshye chira utkantamana. Chira utkantamana means I have been filled with a longing for a long time. Utkantamana means longing in the mind. Chira for a long time. So therefore, filled with a longing for a long time.
The translation is not visible. Oh, yeah.
Filled with a longing for a long time, I desire to see my sisters. I desire to matru, swasru. I desire to see my sisters along with their husbands, Bhartru Samhita. And I desire to see my aunts, Mataram, and my mother, who all have great affection for me in her heart. Who has great affection for me in her heart. And I want to see the best among all the sacrifices performed by the great sages, like a flag among the sacrifices. So this particular sacrifice was one of the best among the sacrifices. So sometimes when there is a very big event which is happening, we don't want to be left out from that event. We want to. So there is a particular term called as FOMO, FOMO. That means fear of missing out. Fear of missing out. So sometimes, for example, there's a particular psychological term in the modern world, fear of missing out. So sometimes the people, in a simple example, can be somebody is a part of a particular WhatsApp group. So the WhatsApp group may be for a particular purpose. But one may be part of that group, but he may not be actually taking part in that actual purpose of the group in which it was created. But still, one doesn't want to go out of that group because there is a fear of missing out something. So maybe there will be some messages or something which I don't want to miss out. So the psychology is present even in a small way, in the sense that people will be part of the different groups. They may not be connected with the core purpose of that group, but still they want to be in the group because there is a fear of missing out. I may miss out on some messages or something. So the same psychology sometimes is present in, say, for example, there is a very big important event which is happening in a country or in a particular society or something. One doesn't want to be left out. One wants to go there. So here Sati is also saying that I want to see the best among all the sacrifices, which is like a flag among the sacrifices. Mridadhvara Dvajam. So this is one reason she is saying, I want to see the best among the sacrifices. And also, I desire to see my mother. And my mother has a great affection for me. She has a great affection for me. I want to see my sisters and my mother who have great affection for me. In this way, she is giving two reasons here. So Prabhupada says that Sati had therefore, because of the tension between Daksha and Shiva, Sati had not gone to her house for a long time. So therefore, she was very anxious to go to her father's house. And as it is natural for a woman, she wanted to dress equally to her other sisters and also be accompanied by her husband. She didn't want to go alone. She wanted to go along with Lord Shiva. Therefore, she is also requesting Lord Shiva to come along with him, with her. Then further verses we'll see next week, starting from the 11th shloka. She is giving some more reasons, and then we will see the response of Lord Shiva to Sati. So I'll stop here. So today we discussed Sati. She saw near her house so many people going to take part in the sacrifice. And she also heard from other personalities about that sacrifice. And by seeing that, she developed a desire to go there. Then she is giving different reasons to Lord Shiva that we should also go there. We discussed some points in connection to this. So anybody would like to comment anything? Any questions? I think. Sure. Okay. No questions. Then shall we end the call? Anybody wants to share anything? Any comments? Rishvanu Prabhu, do you like to add anything?
No, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Okay, we'll stop here. Thank you very much for your patient attention. We'll continue next week. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय,
जय
श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, गौर
जय
भक्त वृंद की जय।
जय।
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.